Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Grue. And for the episode today for Grue, we got a very special guest, a great guest, and his name is Jonathan Stoddard. And I'm really looking forward to talking to him. And it's coming up next, so let's get ready and let's get ready to rock and roll, baby.
Like a wiretap. Let's do
Oh,
this.
all right, buddy. Welcome to Grue, and thanks so much for being a guest.
Yeah, thank you.
See, I don't hear the music anymore.
So it turns out it was like a random autoplay when I opened my browser. So you started playing this, but it had a really cool sax. I don't know if you heard it. It was like, woo!
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
But yeah, wait, what do you have going on in the pictures behind you?
Oh, it's like a bunch of wrestling stuff and like an old picture of me in the prom and
Wait, where are you a wrestler?
well, I was, but like they're actually like wrestling pictures of wrestlers that I met that I watched as a kid and stuff.
That's very cool.
Yeah, like I got Sting back there and Randy Macho Man Savage
Yep. Wow.
and Foley and Hulk Hogan
Dude, that is a you don't happen to have one with The Rock, do you?
oh no, I never met him. Like I never got a picture with him or nothing.
That would
Like
be a trip to
I
have like
know, right?
Johnson.
Oh my God, that would be crazy to meet him. I was happy I got to meet Randy Savage though, because he was always like one of my all time greatest, and it was really cool to meet him.
That's so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
immediately, especially that picture on the far left on the bottom. Um, so well, not your left, like
Oh,
or sorry, your left. So your left shoulder.
I think that's Foley, right?
I think that's fully.
Yeah, yeah. That one's Foley.
I'm an '80s baby, so a lot of the like the wrestling in the middle, I was like, I know these guys.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my childhood. This is crazy. Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, yeah, like you got Hogan and Savage, like they were that era. I
Yeah,
mean, there was no bigger two wrestlers than Macho Man and Hulk Hogan.
yeah, yeah. No, and all the video games, like the greatest video games, were the
My
WrestleMania.
God, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Did you play them as a kid, like the old wrestling games?
Yeah, dude, I love the Undertaker.
Nice, nice.
Dude, this is so cool, so cool. Well, hey man, so what's up? How are you?
Not bad, not bad. What about you?
Things are. Should I bleep myself?
Nah, you can.
Crazy.
I mean, there's like this show isn't intended for kids. Like if they watch it, that's they're probably sneaking it, but it's not intended for kids.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, things are so crazy right now. With I've got my hands in so many things that all have this very powerful equal pull on each other, or at least on me in a couple different directions, and the Venn diagram kind of overlaps a little bit.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
it's kind of wild.
Nice. Hey, at least you're busy, right?
Yes, that is the running jokes with me are what state am I in right now, and then how many hours of sleep have I gotten? So I feel like a father of a newborn.
There you, there you go. Well, I mean, with your lack of sleep, you look very upbeat and energetic.
Caffeine. There's a lot of this happening underneath the comment stereo.
There you go. Like Nice. Nice.
No, I mean, you talk to actors and stuff, and even for your line of work as well, it's like, we gotta. I think that's part of it. You got to figure out how to show up even when you don't feel like showing up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And
You're
everything from being a parent to performing, entertaining, even like being a waiter.
yeah.
Who wants to be? There are not a lot of people who want to be like professional waiters, but you gotta put on that face and go to work, or you'll get fired.
Oh, I know. I know. Like my like real job, my regular job, I have to always go and work and smile on people's face, and I'm like, ugh. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
this is like the fun part. Like, I wish this was like my job where I got paid decent, and I would be really happy then. But unfortunately, this is a hobby for now until I get paid, if I ever get paid for this.
Well, but that's how you know you're doing the right thing now. If
Hmm.
you would do it, then that's how you know you're in the right place.
You're right. You're right about that.
At least that's what I tell myself also.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah. Hey, you have to pay the bills. Like, even though you don't like going to the place, you have to smile and pay the bills, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We've all done some weird shit, I think. Like being an adult, no one tells you. As a kid, you're like, oh, yeah, I want to be an astronaut. Of course. I want to be an actor. Ah. And then you find yourself on the corner at 2 a.m. being like, I got to pay my bills.
Yeah.
Uh, it's it's real. Being an adult is real.
It is. It is. It's sad but true, right?
Yeah.
Um, well, you actually you started out with the soaps, right? You were in the young and restless.
Yeah. Well, so technically, I I don't know how far back you want to go, but like in terms of this group or this section, because this is my second time in LA, starting like 7 years ago.
Okay.
And then 5 years ago, I was in a really bad relationship that totally destroyed me when I moved here.
Oh.
And I lost myself completely. And I was, when that ended, I decided, okay, I was going to pull a Queen of England and I was going to marry the throne. And and you know that reference, or do you know that reference?
No, I don't.
So Queen of England, this whole thing, it wasn't customary for there to be a queen without the king. And so they kept pressuring her to marry a king, to find a suitable king and all this stuff. And she was like, no, I am the ruler. I am the one. And so she threw a wedding for herself to marry the throne.
Oh my God, really?
And there's this very interesting trend, I think, for some of the most like the bios of successful people and things like that, and of where they marry their career, where they marry what they're doing. And you just kind of, you have to make that your compass. You have to make that your number one, or right underneath God, or, whatever, wherever it is, it's got to be pretty high up there, just about as important as oxygen.
Yeah.
And so I decided I would pull a Queen of England, married acting, and then shortly after, I actually kind of got my start doing a lot of commercials,
Oh,
like
wow, nice.
incredible number of commercials, some that I hope the world will never see. I'm sure they'll resurface sometime, because every now and then I'm on YouTube and it's like um, commercials of stars before, and it's like Chris Pratt. Did you see his old commercial?
No, I never did.
Oh,
No.
Chris Pratt, he did this commercial and it's awesome. It was before he started getting into TV and stuff, and it's like
Okay.
him and I don't know, Snuggies and PJs, and he's got a lightsaber and he's fighting Darth Vader for a candy bar or something. I forget what it is. But I've got stuff kind of like that.
Okay.
And but yeah, did commercials, and then I was like, all right, it's time to upgrade from commercials, and then landed an under five with The Young and the Restless, and then that
Nice.
turned into a cool recurring role for the next like 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
It's been a pretty fun journey every time they call me back to do a couple episodes here and there, so it's been fun.
Nice. Nice. And I only heard a lot about being on set for soaps. Like isn't that like a 5 day a week job, like 10 to 12 hour days, and you have to learn a whole bunch of lines and
So it depends on the role.
okay.
I will say one of the interesting things was that mine started as an under five,
Mm-hmm.
and, that little tease for me at the time was, oh, I want to get contracted. I want to be recurring. And because once it's done, like once the under five is done, you leave set, which is a whole other experience. To be on CBS, to be on the lot, the way that they do it is just so on point and so professional and polished. It's wild. I'd never experienced anything like it,
Oh wow.
and I was so nervous before I got there. Like couldn't eat for 2 days, nervous,
Damn.
um, because of some of the things that you've heard where they send you the whole, and it's just for under five. I didn't even have crazy lines at the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I had
exactly.
5 lines, and I didn't eat for 2 days. Five lines. Like, come on. But I will say this in my defense: if you have a whole monologue, you know, you can get away with not being emotionally present for a couple lines. If you have 5 lines and you're not emotionally present for one of them, you are beep.
Yeah.
Like it is. You've got to be so locked in because every single word counts.
Oh.
So I put a lot of pressure on myself for those 5. But I will say the blessing in disguise is that under 5, of course, like a month or 2 later, they called me back, and I became a non-contracted recurring character,
Nice.
part of a flashback series for 1970 when the kids were exploring their adult issues, but how they kind of a This Is Us thing where how did it start as children? And so what I didn't realize was that this flexibility of Y&R calling me
Mm-hmm.
every 6 months to shoot a couple episodes, it gave me the freedom and ability to start working on movies. And it gave me the ability to start expanding into this whole other space of entertainment instead of going in every single day and being a serial, like a serial contracted player.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, in the last 2 years, I don't know, I think I've done over 20 projects, and it's been pretty wild. And I couldn't have done that if I was on set every single day for Young and the Restless.
That's true. That's true. Because that being on the soap takes up a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like I can, if I book a movie for a month, but I'm on set every single day at CBS, like I can't do it. So, and there are people, I've talked to some of the actors there where it's like they get really comfortable, and there's a beautiful security in that. But I'm actually really happy with how things turned out because I love stepping into the film space,
Oh yeah.
and that's just been such a great journey so far.
Nice, nice, nice. And one of the films you've done, a horror film, you play a cop in a horror film called White Terror, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's funny out of all of out of all of them, that's the one that you pick.
Oh no, I got more.
Do you want to hear the story behind it, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Um, I did this movie in Iceland called Angels Never Cry.
Hmm.
Such a wild experience to be to film over there. Great people, and everything was wonderful. And the director of that one ended up also having this one several months later.
Oh, okay.
And she called me originally from that. Now, this is what's interesting or fun about the backstory of this, is that in Angels Never Cry, I play this kind of serial killer. It's a much darker role. And I go after this girl who's married, and her husband is a guy named Matt Monroe. And so he ends up kind of killing me. Like we end up having some fight scenes and stuff in Angels Never Cry. So then he takes me out in the movie in White Terror, or it was like White Room before. It's gone through some working titles and everything.
Hmm.
Ended up casting me as the cop and him as the robber. And so I end up getting my on-screen revenge, and I pump him full of lead. I shoot him a couple times.
Nice, nice. I like that.
And so there's a fun little backstory of like Easter eggs with some of the repeat characters when you develop these set families. So that's kind of a fun thing about that.
Okay, okay. And another horror film. As you could tell, I'm a big horror fan. So
Yeah.
another horror film I see you worked with someone that I absolutely love. Like you worked with D Wallace on set for Wait the Dawn.
I
How
loved it so much.
yeah, how was it with D?
Man, she is a presence. She is a force. Like she's so wonderful. Um, the not only just like on set her professionalism, but also her mothering instincts and care and understanding, but then also the like no tolerance. I've been doing this for a long time, so get your shit together and let's do this. But then, she kind of, lack of a better expression, she kind of slaps you around a little bit, and then but you kind of like it. So, I mean, Dia is just such a wonderful, wonderful woman, and her daughter was actually on the movie as well.
Nice.
And we had people like Josh Server and Caitlin, and played my sister, um, and just the cast was phenomenal. And Courtney Gaines, especially for horror. I mean, he's iconic in the horror
Yeah,
world.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There were Bruce Davidson, like there were just some. It was phenomenal. Such a great experience, and I can't wait. That movie, it keeps kind of getting to the point where it's about to get released, but
Hmm.
at least from what I hear from production, distribution keeps kind of fighting um, about where it's going to get released, specifically on what platform. But it it cleaned up in the festival, in the horror world, and
Oh, of course.
all of that. Like we've got, and yeah, the laurels are insane when it comes to that movie. It's wonderful.
I mean, if this film is shown at like film fests and horror cons and horror fests,
Yep.
when the horror fans see that Dee Wallace is in this film, they're gonna go absolutely crazy and want to see it because she's like a horror icon in the horror world.
Yeah, yeah, she was great. She's great, man. Every now and then we just go like E.T. But she has such a great sense of humor, and like we would dance on set, all of us.
Nice.
It was an ensemble cast, so most of the movie takes place in a single trailer. She plays my mom in this, and so all of us together, it just bonded so fast because every single scene, like 90% of the movie or 80% of the movie takes place in a trailer, um, where where even if it's the scene about them, I'm still in
Hmm.
the background someplace because the space is so small. So we all got to know each other. Um, just yeah, and still I was texting with that. I call them we call them our ATD family, Await the Dawn family.
Right, right.
That's our set family, and we still text every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did you like best about being on set for that film?
For Wait the Dawn?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Sorry, that was a very pregnant pause. Uh, um, I don't know. I think I always lean towards the people.
Okay.
I always lean towards the people. Um, who we work with, the problems that we have to overcome to make a movie happen.
Hmm.
Um, and then the set families after. And just yeah, because otherwise it's kind of like speed making movies in today's world is almost like speed dating, where it's Tinder for movies, and you get on set, like you swipe, and you're like, oh, I want to be in that movie. It's a match, woohoo! And then you get on set, you have your date, and it's 0 to 60, and then the movie's over, and then you're like, are they gonna call? Do we get to do this again? And so so I would say it's always about the people for me. I love the community that forms on set. It's everything.
Nice. And how did you wind up getting the role as William in the horror movie Voices?
Ah, the voices. Dun,
And
dun, dun.
do you hear voices in your head at all? No, I'm a joke.
Mom, where's the meatloaf? Sorry, Will Ferrell throwback. Had to.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, the voices that was a fun story. Shoots in Alabama, or shot in Alabama, of course. And you were asking, how did I get that role?
Hmm.
It's kind of a fun story behind that. I Where was I? I think I just gotten back from Iceland,
Oh
and I was
wow.
from shooting Angels Never Cry,
Yeah.
shooting that one. And then there were like 5 months where I was living in this house in Los Feliz, kind of like a core group of us. And then we all kind of scattered after our 2-year lease ended, where there was a director friend of ours who went over to like Cleveland, Ohio. Another one went back to Virginia. Another one went back doing this. Moved in with his girlfriend. So I was like, well, I'm SOL. Um, so I'm gonna, I guess I found this great place in WeHo, but all my stuff coming from a big, like I was disheveled. There was
Yeah.
no reason. And like, if you looked at me, you wouldn't have thought I was an actor. You would have thought that I've been living out of my car for a while, which it felt like I had been. My hair, like I don't even remember last time I had a haircut when I first auditioned for The Voices.
Yeah.
And when I auditioned for it, I was like, it's like, well, now they're not going to cast me because yeah, like, let me be the male lead of your movie. Like, no, there was, it's like I've already lost before I went in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That, of course, is the irony. Um, but here's the fun part. Apparently, I went in, I did my thing, and I tried telling casting. I was like, which Judy, such a wonderful woman, she casted Judy Boulay, and I was like, after the first audition, just so you know, if he wants me to cut my hair, shave, like, I don't normally look like a piece of, but I can clean up, top notch, and like I'll go on a diet. It'll be great. This is just a bad time for me, but I can do this. And and she's like, don't worry about it. I thought you did great, honey. And I'm sure she said that to everyone.
Yeah. Exactly.
Such a lovely soul. And they called me back, and I was like, wow. And I ended up doing like 6 or 7 auditions.
Damn.
And yeah, went through like the initial. Actually, I think it was like 4 or 5 auditions, and then it was like 5 or 6 or 7 chemistry reads. for the Lily, the woman who played Lily. And
Mm-hmm.
they tried casting everything out of LA to have that rapport. And then the irony, of course, of that is that they cast a girl that we didn't read together, nor did we ever meet until the first day of set.
Oh, wow.
So like,
Okay.
all the chemistry reads, like there was no chemistry until we actually met. But here's the overarching interesting story or backstory to how and why my disheveledness didn't matter. And it's because Lily is blind in the movie. So when the director was listening to the auditions, he didn't watch them. He listened to them. And he put himself in Lily's shoes and he said, if I was a woman who was blind, looks wouldn't matter to me. I'm going for someone who has, you know, that texture, that comfort, that compassion, something in their voice that makes me feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst other things, but and loved and everything. I need someone who has that vocal presence. And so until we started doing like the final chemistry reads, he didn't even know what I looked like.
Really?
Yeah. Which is just such a fascinating.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, and thank goodness, I was one, you know, I was one like hitting my head against a wall, bump on my forehead away from being the Elephant Man. Like it was. Can you imagine if he's like, "We want you," and I'm like, "Hi guys," like it just wouldn't. Would have been like, okay, maybe let's find somebody with a voice and, you know, somebody who doesn't look like one of the spirits coming after her. So, but yeah, it's just kind of an interesting story how and why people cast and create the movies that they do and their process.
Wow. Yes. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. You didn't even know how you look like. That's insane.
Now his producer, you know, and I'm sure behind closed doors in the beginning, the producer was like, maybe you should watch this guy before you say you like his voice. And Nathaniel, he goes by Sith, but Sith was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. And I'm sure Mike was like, nudge, are you sure?
Yeah.
There's this other really cute guy that I also think would be perfect. He's like tall and dashing. This guy looks like he crawled out of a trailer. Anyway, it all worked out, and thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly. So for anyone who hasn't heard of the film, can you give like a little story on what the film is about?
Yeah. I will say I wish I had a more succinct and better answer for describing what this movie is about, only because it is not your normal horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It has this really, the easiest way I can describe it is this kind of like international horror where it has the suspense, it has the thrill, but it's not like Friday the 13th. It's not it's not Michael. It's not Halloween. It's not slasher, and then you round the corner and it's Carmen Electra running through a field of sprinklers. You know, Scream reference. It's not like a scary movie reference. Sorry, it's not that kind of film. This has, the whole story is more drama and it's about the family, but then there are these two very other powerful stories from children trafficking,
Mm-hmm.
and then this unique ability that my wife has when she gets pregnant of being able to hear spirits. And then not only that, when she gets pregnant, there's a certain period of time in which she has the unique ability to be able to pick which spirit is going to be her baby, our baby. Like what soul is going to go into that baby?
Wow.
It's scary and edgy, but dramatic. Plays on some very real concepts about humanity and also supernatural.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's fun, but there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening in the project.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Wow. And how was the cast and crew like on set?
Oh, they're amazing. They were just such the warmest people. I mean, it's Alabama hospitality. It's so nice. But they don't. Of course, none of them had accents, but they were well, they were like one or two, but
Okay.
everyone was so nice and just warm and welcoming. I have a fun theory about this. After being on set, to say there were only a couple people who really set the tone for how a set operates. That's the lead actors. So if they're divas, then everyone else is like, oh my god, we gotta do what? Because that actor is gonna be like, yeah, I want my coffee at 130 degree and I want you to remove all the W's from my M&M bowl. And they're like, oh my god, we gotta do this. Or I walk, and so the diva on set sets the tone. The director sets the tone. And so, and then kind of like the lead producer or executive producer, they set the tone. If they're cool, then everyone else is cool.
Okay.
Like if the director is really cool and everything, then he sets the tone for the AD to be cool, and they're the gatekeepers for making sure we stay on track. Everyone else is cool as long as those like 3 to 4 components like are really solid, just friendly or not like some. I don't want to put down anybody who's kind of like firm when they're on set. Because you got to do what you got to do to pull off the movie and to make it happen. So I get it. But I will say the cast and crew for this were just amazing. And they set such a beautiful tone for everyone to have a family. And we still talk constantly as well. I have my Voices family group chat too.
There you go. See that? It seems like the horror films you've been on, you set group text chats.
Yep. Yeah, they're my set families.
Exactly.
Especially for location, you're living in another place for a couple of weeks to a month or so. Yeah, I'm gonna. This is my family.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know this film is like new. The voices. So I don't know if you could say or not, but what scene did you like best from the movie? I don't know if you could give too much away, or I don't know.
Are people going to be watching this and listening to it?
Yeah. So like skip over that, right?
Oh, so I shouldn't stand up because I'm in boxers. I'm totally doing the quarantine party thing right now.
There you go. Well, I mean, some viewers might actually like that. You never know.
Hey, let's boost the ratings. It worked for Janet Jackson back in the day. Wardrobe malfunction. So, I don't know. I like the tension and practical effects, and they did a lot of practical effects on this. So I love that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Really disturbing scene where she has a nightmare, and without giving too much away, this nightmare is just disturbing, and it's just disturbing, and that's all I can say. Man, woman, it doesn't matter, and I'm asleep during it, so it's not disturbing like for my character.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorite scenes that we did in the movie because they would joke that I was actually falling asleep while they were setting up the shot because she and I are laying in bed together.
Oh, wow.
So, and I would actually fall asleep, and then she wakes up from the nightmare, and I have to. So I would actually, I would actually fall asleep because it's like hour 12, and this really intense, creepy guy comes crawling into the room, and like, ooh, and it's so disturbing, and she wakes up in a panic, and it wakes me up, and then I have to do the scene.
Wow.
I would, fake sleeping. Try fake sleeping for 30 minutes and see if you don't fall asleep.
Right, exactly. If your eyes are shut for that long period of time, you're gonna fall asleep.
Oh, you're gone. You're gone. Like, acting is hard. I mean, but with all due respect, it's like, obviously if I was blind, like, that wouldn't be a problem. I could live in the dark and I would be totally cool. But no, I mean, I fall asleep doing the 5 minutes of asana at the end of a yoga session. Like, I'm screwed doing a scene like this. But I did it, and it was good. But so that's one of my favorite scenes. And then near the end of the movie, where some of the spirits come out, and we have to like run through the house and getting cornered by this, well, just crazy stuff. I don't want to give anything away, but it's just fun.
Nice. Was there any funny or cool behind the scenes stories that happened on set while you were filming?
Well, the whole thing was fun and cool.
Okay.
I mean, and you can tell, like, even just the banter and everything that we're doing back and forth, like, this was every day.
Yeah.
Around set. And so I can't say there was anything that stuck out specifically, but we just had an incredible time. We just all had so much fun, laughed, and we would all get together and grab dinner after each day and just hang out, and then talk about the following day and how we felt, about some of the shots and things that we did. It was just a great experience. They were wonderful.
Nice. And was this film shown in like horror film fests and stuff?
So it was supposed to release during quarantine.
Oh, okay.
And obviously quarantine changed everything and shut down all the theaters and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know exactly what Sith ended up doing, at least in terms of who saw it, what it was committed to. I'm pretty sure, based off of like the distribution and how everything happened, I'm pretty sure it didn't go to festivals. Please don't quote me on that, even though this is recorded. But we did get some attention beforehand and everything, and then of course we got domestic theatrical release, international distribution, all that kind of stuff. So, but I don't exactly remember what markets and everything that we played with beforehand to test market response.
Okay. I mean, that's a shame, like how quarantine, because that's how a film basically gets seen, gets known, is going through like the film festivals, and quarantine killed that. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a trip.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least you still got like streaming, because like with Film Fest not active as much now. Like a lot of films are going through apps and streaming and all that stuff. So I mean, at least you still get to see it, right?
Well, yeah, when we heard that that it was getting picked up, full theatrical release and everything, we were, I mean, it's just so fun. And I know it's select theaters and all this kind of stuff, but it's just cool. It's amazing. Like, the whole world has changed, and AMC.
Oh, I know.
Now people have every single movie coming out available on all these distribution platforms: Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, Apple, Facebook. They're all generating content now. Disney.
Yeah,
everyone's fighting. Everyone's attention. And yeah, that experience disappeared long enough. The experience of going to the theaters used to be
Oh, so much fun.
so much fun. Such a good at getting your hands buttery and oily from the popcorn and eating the candy that you don't get at home,
Yeah,
or at least you shouldn't
yeah,
get.
exactly.
And going with your friends and sitting in the chair, or like IMAX, and the sensory experience, and
Mhm.
iPick, and it was such a thing. Now people have that at home, where
It don't
they have
feel the same.
they have reclining chairs, and they're like, "Yep, I'm gonna put on Netflix. I'll put it on with my like they're now like 4K wild 600-inch projector screen across the sky, and they're like, no, the technology is insane
It
now.
is, it is, it's crazy. But like no matter what size television you have, and if you have surround sound, it's still nothing compares to going to the theater, like that experience sitting in the dark theater and big screen. And I mean, there's just something different about the feeling. I love going during like the summertime. You go in like an ice cold movie theater and sit there and watch a movie. Oh my god.
Sneaking in a beverage or two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna say I've done that. I'm just saying.
You know, order a soda and put a little enhancement in the soda.
Yep. Go to the bathroom before the movie starts. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
I am wearing pants, so I'm not going total commando, but like hiding something here. Again, I'm not saying I've done this. I'm just saying.
And not that we've done these things, just stuff that we heard that people do.
I'm not advocating that you do any of this.
Exactly. And
I will say, if you flip this question that I'm about to ask you on me, I can't tell you. I don't remember. But do you remember the last movie you saw in the theater?
the last one I saw, whew, well, I mean, it was before the world went into a big sci-fi movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, I can't even remember the last one I saw. It had to be like, I think it was like the last Avengers film, or the last Spider-Man. It was one of them.
Well, I was gonna say, I actually think I just had a flash. I think that was mine too.
Well, the
Endgame.
Avenger, yeah, that probably was.
I
Yeah.
think I saw Avengers Endgame in IMAX, and that was my last.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Marvel Brothers. That's. I wonder how many people that was their last movie.
Probably mostly everyone, because I mean,
Yeah, one of the highest grossing films of all time.
yeah, yeah. And it's sad because the movie theater where I live at in Philly, they shut down forever. So I have to like travel outside of Philly now if I want to see a movie.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I never would have thought that they would shut down a movie theater. Like that was our like only one, and they shut it down. And I was like, oh, come on, really? Now I have to go to Jersey.
And it's actually open there?
Yeah, yeah, they got a few theaters out in Jersey, and everything's open. Like, well, it's not full, but like they got a couple theaters and then a couple drive-ins too.
Well, the drive-ins are cool. It is cool they brought some of the drive-ins back
Hmm.
to be able to do that, to go full old school.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So at least Jersey's still like doing their people right. Philly isn't.
Well, I do really though. Man, I love Philly.
Yeah, well, like you visited Philly and stuff before, or probably shot here, right?
Well, I haven't actually shot in Philly, but my sister went to University of the Arts,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then so I visited her a bunch because I went to a school out in New Hampshire. So she and I used to do road trips back and forth for the holidays, and we would just like drive across. I had a Mazda back then, so we used to throw everything in the trunk and just, or we'd take her car and go back, and it was just great. But Philly was wonderful, and then my brother went to Temple University.
Oh, nice, nice.
And out there, he ended up matching, so they ended up staying in a suburb just outside. And he's still in Pennsylvania, but I just love Philly. There's just something so cool. I don't know. It's the history of the architecture
Hmm.
and like even the bad parts. I think are just so historically amazing. And there's just such a cool energy or feeling there. Like
Oh yeah.
I love it there.
Just don't walk in the bad parts when the sun goes down.
Yeah, that's when you're like, all right, robbers, pick your weapon. I got mace, a gun, a baton, like like selling watches. You're like, how do you want to go down today?
Yeah, exactly.
Get your
Exactly.
equipment. You don't have this jacket to arm yourself like Marvel superhero, like Batman.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Stay-
um, like you've done horror stuff. Like have you ever been to any horror cons, horror conventions?
No, but I want to so badly.
So much fun.
Oh, I grew up doing some of the dance, or sorry, not dance, some of the the Renaissance Fair stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was that weird kid who worked the Renaissance Fair.
Nice, nice. That looks fun.
Oh, the Ren Fair back when I was a kid was phenomenal. It was amazing. It was this fun, creative space, like Renaissance period. You're grabbing like turkey legs and like,
Oh, that's the best part about it.
yeah, and you're just like immersed in this other place. And we used to go, watching people juggle, and
Hmm.
it's like it's a traveling Vegas. It's the traveling Shakespearean show. It was just I loved it. I loved it so much. Um, so dressing up and doing all that, uh, Comic Con, like I want to do something where I get to do like Comic Con and dress up and do stuff like
Oh
that. Like
yeah.
monster wear. I have a lot of friends that I've been doing a lot of movies like where I have to be a person,
Hmm.
but I've been making this list of special effects and makeup artists and people who do the prosthetics and creature kind of stuff because I love that. I absolutely love it. Um, and then I get to go to like Comic Con, like the horror festivals, and or not just the horror festivals, but like HorrorCon. Like
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I want to really bad. My name is not big enough yet, but it will be soon where I get to go to things like that.
Well, like horror fans, I mean, speaking as a horror fan myself and running a horror site, like horror fans are very loyal, and like you got some horror films, especially your newest one, Voices. So you know y- if anyone tries to book you for a horror con, you might be shocked on like the people to come to see you. Like you might have a line and stuff because of the movie.
I would be there. I'd be there in a heartbeat. And I will say, I've got a handful more horror movies that are on the verge of coming out,
Okay.
and even one that I produced and starred in as well. And
Nice.
Sif from The Voices is also taking over some of the distribution, and we showed him the rough because we did it bare bones, and it's the Stephen King style. We shot it in Maine, and it's about these two military guys who kind of they go out on this mission and get hunted down by this monster,
Ooh.
and then ends up the monster ends up yeah, I'll say it. The monster ends up crawling inside me,
Oh, wow.
like gutting me and then crawling inside of me, and then I bring it home to my family.
Oh my God, it sounds amazing. Well, not amazing for your family.
Right. So it's kind of like the thing, right? This parasite kind of creature, but there's some other elements to it that make it a little more mind fuckery, kind of like
Okay.
it plays in the Stephen King world, and it's just and PTSD and some other elements and guilt and how that manifests and then bringing home the problems with us after work.
Wow.
But so
Yeah.
that movie we showed Sith a version of it, and he was like, this is going to be phenomenal. He's like, I just want to be a part of this, and so he's helping us with some of the buttoning up, tightening it, distribution, everything. So we may be going into the same distribution platform, and then that'll have a global release in the coming months as well.
Damn. Okay.
But there are a handful of projects like yeah.
Now you see, like that film is probably going to be the film that makes the horror fans want to see at horror cons now because you got a beast living inside of you.
Oh, we got some scenes for that one too. Because in the voices, I'm like a supportive husband, and I'm like, oh, Lily, like, what are you talking about? And she's, going through everything, and she's everything, and it's more of a visual external of spirits and things, and but it's like bloody and eerie, like it's so eerie stuff to see these dead spirits, the way that they died, trying to communicate or come after her, and then, but then this one is also this on the contrast is the horror actually happens to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So faces getting ripped off, intestines getting pulled out, putting people on like skins, like that kind of thing becomes a different kind of style. It's different, but still wonderful.
Damn, you're definitely gonna draw the horror crowd for this. And like, what are some horror films you love to watch?
Oh. Oh man. All right, so when I was a kid, like Lord of the Flies and
Oh yeah, yeah.
Candyman.
Oh, that was creepy. Yeah.
That fucked me up as a kid. Like I could do a lot of horror, and
Uh-huh.
I'm the youngest of four, so I got exposed to a lot of things really early, and I was like, you know what, I can handle anything. And then for one of my birthdays, and I don't remember, I was like early preteen or something, and I was like, let's watch Candyman,
Ugh.
and I like.
Yeah, that's not a movie to watch as a kid.
I couldn't sleep for a minute.
I'm sure.
But no, there are some like, you some of the greats now, and like Insidious and Haunting Hill, like there are just some wonderful, like The Ring. I was so
Yeah.
fascinated by The Ring
Yeah.
for like the concept of filmmaking, and then of course I mentioned it earlier, but like The Thing and the practical effects with how they did certain, like there's there are certain films that just stand out because they were so they're the timeless movies, but then they're the movies that are just so impactful for the time, cutting edge for the time.
Oh, definitely.
And but yeah, I mean those are, and then psychological horrors versus like, even the Freddy, like the classic slashers and Halloween and Freddy and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's I don't know how to boil it down to just a basic, like, this is my favorite. I don't have way too many incredible artists that have made movies that have scared the living shit out of me, that deserve an homage. Even Midsummer, which was just like,
Yeah, that was nuts. Yeah.
such a slow burn
Mm-hmm.
that gets inside your head and then like fucks you up by the end of it, where you don't even know who you are and what you re-examine life
That's
issues,
true.
right? So
That's
you're not
true.
even scared. You're not scared of like someone breaking in. You're just scared of being alive
Yeah,
and being yourself.
yeah.
Like, so, oh, there's some, yeah, that's, I don't know.
Okay.
There are too many.
Oh no, I know. Like, one film you mentioned is a film I love, Ring. Like, could you picture like just sitting down watching television and this creepy girl's coming out of your TV? Like, she wouldn't even have to kill me. I would have a heart attack.
Right. Can you imagine like this is your almost take the concept of the animation Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
But take it as like a serial killer where she's like, I have one job, I need to go kill this person. And she crawls out of the TV and then but she's so good at being fucking terrifying that you die before she gets there and she's like, well, now the fun's out of it. Like, so disappointing to be a serial killer and have these like abilities to come out of a TV
Right.
VHS.
Yeah, yeah. She wouldn't have to do nothing to me. I would be done. Like, this creepy girl
Oh,
crawling out of a TV with that creepy crawl that she does. I'm like, nah.
yeah, be like, yep, 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 yep. Dead before she out of the TV.
Right.
Like that, The Ring, it was so legendary.
Mm-hmm.
That style of filmmaking, of the quick cuts,
Mm-hmm.
concept, of course, is scary. How it's implemented is what changes the game with horror today. You know, it's the single cut like Midsommar, where they don't cut when she the two elders jump off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look away. And back with Jaws and some of this other stuff and Psycho, I mean, legendary. Like, but even those are psychological thriller. It's not like hardcore horror, but
Yeah, yeah.
these the scale of some of this stuff. I mean, even in some of the old Halloweens and stuff, you know, they'd raise the knife and then you would just see like, ah!
Exactly.
And then the
Exactly.
knife going down and blood squirting out, but you're not actually seeing them.
Exactly.
So your imagination tears you apart.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're doing practical effects, single cuts, and it's like you're watching somebody's skin melt on TV. You're watching the cuts in such a beautifully orchestrated, choreographed way that those visuals burn into your retinas later. And then the movie's over and you walk home and then you look at your TV and you're like, you know, and then there's that, you change the channel to that one static after you watch The Ring and you're like, honey, did you put on, did it turn, okay, just, did you hit the button or did it turn on accidentally? Or is this The Ring? Did you watch a fucking VHS? What did, like,
I would probably be running out of the house if the television turned to a static channel after watching that movie. I'd be like, yeah, I'm running.
yeah, that'll mess you up. That's intense. But yeah, The Ring was, whew.
Yes, definitely. So, what do you like doing for fun when you aren't involved in acting?
Got my hands in kind of a bunch of things, a lot of music, working on a couple albums right now, with my singer, Taylor Watson. And we're doing some very cool projects, really like edgy stuff. And uh, that's the most I can say at the moment
Okay.
about that, but it's taking up a lot of time. We've been in and out of the studio. I'm filming 2 movies at the moment. So every day that I'm not on set or some of the days that I get wrapped early, I go straight to the studio
Oh,
and
nice.
work on laying down tracks and creating kind of the essence and getting ready for our release, which we're hoping will be in about a month or two. And
Okay,
then,
sweet.
yeah, so that'll be really cool. But other than that, like I've done it all to survive. You know, it's the life of an actor. So
Bas-
I have a photography company. I love teaching. So I have a teaching company.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, and just like the teaching and mentoring is specifically around acting, but specifically geared towards helping people kind of change that one thing to go from it's not necessarily about your talent. Like talent, of course, plays a part, but this is a business, and so many like so much emphasis on acting is about developing the talent and the skill. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, there are some very, very talented people who will knock your socks off, but you will never see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't know the business end, they don't know the marketing end, they don't know what they're doing. And so they're like, you don't want to be the most talented person in the graveyard, um, and have nobody know who you are, what your name is, if that's why you're here.
Yeah, that's true.
So I like teaching. I don't know. I like having a part in inspiring people to be able to start over and close that gap, because I've had to start over so many times in my life. Um, I've had to start over just a lot, and I've come out of it every time. And nobody's nobody's handed me like a golden thing. My family's not in the business. In fact, they're the
Yeah.
furthest thing from it. And I'm at a very interesting place of creating like my own momentum and certain kinds of success. And I really hope, obviously, this with all these movies and everything, and with you and helping like developing these relationships and getting out there, that it's going to help put me on a different kind of platform. Um, like being of service is really important to me, and having a hand in helping people believe that more is possible for what and where they are
Hmm.
than what they currently think. That's really powerful for me. So I spend a lot of time teaching, mentoring, and being involved in that.
Oh wow. Okay.
But yeah, otherwise it's like, and then Peter Calanteris Agency is a company, a talent agency that I have a hand in the
Oh
development of that. So there are a lot of different things that I'm kind of shaping.
yeah, definitely. You got a lot of stuff that's going on.
So, yeah,
Wow. I could see why you don't sleep much now.
yeah, that whole sleep thing. Yeah, sleep. What sleep? So I'm working on it though.
Yeah.
I'll
Um,
sleep
is, uh, is there any I mean I know the films you have out, but like is there any film that you want to push your plug, or anything coming out that you want to talk about?
I feel like if I were to narrow it down, it would be an insult to anyone that I didn't mention, right? Um, other than the one that I'm producing, which I told you about, so I have to do a
Mhm.
plug. But that's called Bone Cold, and look for that in theaters near you this summer, whatever. But I don't know when that'll fully get released, but over the next coming months, and that's going to be a very cool project. I think that movie's going to do really well. Fingers crossed. Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, but other than that, there I'm working on two movies right now, and not in like a boasting place, but it'll be my eighth movie. When I'm done filming in the middle of May, it'll be my eighth movie wrapping since January.
Damn, okay.
Let alone anything that didn't get released in quarantine, which was
Yeah, yeah.
so. There are a lot of really cool things coming out. Um, on some of like the horror side, even for some fun love story side. I'm up for this one in Montana, which would be pretty cool, where it's not horror, but there is some jarring stuff that happens, which I would really love to get.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know exactly. Just keep your eye for the audience. Keep your eyes out, because there's some cool beep coming.
Nice. Okay.
I'm
And
very selective with my beeps. I've said the F-bomb like 6 times without beeping myself, and I apologize.
No, like I said, like, it's not a show that's meant for kids, and like if they do watch it, they're definitely sneaking it. And where can fans find you at, like your socials and website if you have one? And
Yeah, of course. Instagram is John Stoddard Official, but it's Jon,
oh,
not John. No offense to the Johns out there. But I am a Jonathan, so short, that's John. But John Stoddard Official is Instagram. I have a website that I'm going to be revamping just because of this flux of work and everything that I've been doing. So I have to redo all of my marketing and branding and everything. But if you do want to stay in touch, Jonathan Stoddard or johnstoddard.com, IMDb, of course. Otherwise, you can follow like the teaching company because I'm pretty active on that every week. And but there's just going to be some cool stuff. I would say those are probably the number one platform would be Instagram, if not the teaching company.
and where can they find that one at the teaching company?
Teaching company is called The Resourceful Actor. And so we're pretty active on the Instagram for that. So The Resourceful Actor, it's just The Resourceful Actor. And then every week we do kind of like a checking in live feed every Sunday.
Oh, wow.
We bring on special guests and we just talk about the industry. We talk about life. We talk about things going on. So it's kind of a fun way to check in with the community and create an anchor point. And I would say those are probably the two best ways. Otherwise, I don't know. Things are about to get super crazy, and so I don't know if I'm going to be coming out more into the world or if I'm going to start like hiding under a rock. So I don't know. Instagram, those companies, it's going to be good.
Nice.
We'll see what happens with everything.
Okay. All right, buddy. I don't want to take too much more of your time up. I know I already took a lot of it up.
Hey, man.
But thank you again for taking time out of your night and coming on the show and taking time out of your sleep too.
Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate your time as well, and just playing with me. This is awesome. Thank you.
Definitely. All right, buddy. Have yourself a good night and rest of the week.
Let's do it. Have a good night. Let me know how this turns out.
Oh, definitely.
Gotta send me a link.
Definitely will.
And enjoy Philly.
Yeah.
In New Jersey? When you go to the theaters?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cross over to Jersey if I want to go to the theaters. Yeah. No offensive people in Jersey, of course.
No, of course not. No. Jersey is awesome. Jersey.
It's good. Hey, that's where they filmed Jason at. So.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, have a good night. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. You too. Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye. Okay.